What's going on? What's going on? I had a little bit of a technical snafu before I got on the mic here. So let's had everything set up. Something went wrong with my lights. See how we looking. All right, we good. What's going on? Abby K, it's good to see you in here. What's up? How's your day going? I get some folks some more time to hop up in here while I get a little bit more on the camera myself. See if I can make some in-camera adjustments. There we go. What is going on, my good folks? It's been a good week. Let me know. It's Friday. I'm chill today. Very good, exciting show coming up today. Tonight here in the dojo with your Normie Sensei Master Kunch. So just let me know in the comments before we get into the good stuff. How you doing? How's your day? How is everything going for my people in here? How's everything going for my people? Man, it's good vibes. What's up, Trinity? It's good vibes. I just left the Discord over there, the Den of Nerds Discord, where my man Al's is over there spinning on the ones and twos, having a good time on that Friday. So yeah, I had to come in here real quick though, cause there's a lot of shit I gotta get off my chest when it comes to some of the nerdy content that we've been getting for the last about 2 months or so. So basically, I don't want to get into it at the beginning because I know everybody hasn't been able to see it. But stick around to the end for about 30 minutes. Then I'm gonna get into my Invincible stuff because I want to say that for last because I don't think everybody has had a chance to see it. But Invincible is no doubt to me. Let me turn this music down some more. Invincible is no doubt to me like the greatest piece of nerdy content we have gotten in like since Endgame, since what's it called? Far From Home. I think that's the last time we got something as good as Invincible on the nerdy side of content. So I'm gonna be breaking down that season, giving my whole reaction to the whole season because it was crazy, man. I'm gonna give that about like 30 minutes in, but I do want to talk some Black Panther. You see my shirt? Wakanda forever. You'll see my shirt. I want to talk about some Black Panther. Then I also want to get into some of these rumors too that we've been getting from Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm gonna get my speculation and theories on what that means for the whole entire series. For the whole entire movie coming up. Yo, Coachella Coastal, what's going on, my brother? What's up, man? Good seeing you in here, bro. So yeah, we got a good show, a good time planned ahead for all of us. So like I said, it's a good Friday chill stream. Another announcement tomorrow. Do not know what time exactly, but my good man Stormy hit me up on the Discord this morning, and he wanted to invite me to his channel. And timing over there at his channel, he's busy over there at Everyday Geeks. So he said, you know what? Why don't you just come on and stop by the dojo? Let me have a guest sensei in the building. So tomorrow, we will have Stormy from Everyday Geeks in here, and we are going to be talking some Mortal Kombat. We are going to be talking some Invincible. Thank you, Trendy, for tweeting that out. We are going to be talking some Invincible, and we are going to be talking again some Marvel theories. That's all I want to do here. Lastly, some new folks in here. I do need to start a Twitter for the channel, Trendy. That's the thing. I'm so busy. I'm so freaking busy with work. Being in news and being a journalist is like so demanding. Plus a child. I got a kid and I got another kid on the way. I've been meaning to make that Twitter for like the last 2 weeks, and I'm actually going to do it this weekend. I'm probably going to start up my Twitter tonight. I got some time. Got a little bit of alone time, a little bit of free time. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start that Twitter tonight. But yeah, Trinity, thanks for tweeting that out, man. Thanks for sending that out. That's much love. But yeah, we are going to be having Stormy on tomorrow, talking all that good stuff. Lastly, new folks in here. I need some help. We got a new show coming out here on the channel. All right? What I want to do, I want to get your favorite YouTube creators. I'm talking about folks like Trinity. I'm talking about folks like my man Stormy. Some of your favorite folks from over there at the tower over there at Den of Nerds. I want to have a show where we come out here into the final round grounds and we go straight into theories. It's a theory battle. All right, so it's 1-on-1, 3 rounds, hammering out theories based on some things that come out in the week, based on some news, based on some of the shows that we're going to be having. It's a pivot because I got to figure out what to do in between these shows coming out. I've been debating doing Star Wars, Bad Batch, and looking at doing that stuff. But to be honest, I'm a bit of a normie in Star Wars. I mean, I watched all the Star Wars content coming up to the end on Rebels right now. I got 2 episodes left still. But I feel like I don't read enough, to get into that. So I may bring some people on to talk about Star Wars. But long story short, this show here, I need some names. Give me some help with some names, folks. Like I said, I want to have it centered around. Mike Porter gave me a good name last week with Nerd Match. I want to have it really centered around this whole dojo atmosphere, this whole kung fu karate atmosphere that we have going on here in Normies to Nerds in the dojo. So yeah, just drop some comments in there in the name and let me know what you guys think. But look, we'll come back out here to the training grounds, and before we get to my man's right there, I want to get out here to the training grounds. So look, let's get into it here. We got some news this week about one of Marvel's billion-dollar babies. Got some news in here about Black Panther 2 coming up. And everybody wants to know about Black Panther 2. Even before the tragic passing of the iconic Chadwick Boseman. Folks wanted to know what Black Panther 2 was going to, come along with. So now that he's unfortunately no longer with us, we really are scratching and diving for anything of what's going to happen next. That's for sure, Coachella. So, what I want to get into, there was some news out. They were talking about, there's some news out where you got, Lupita Nyong'o talking about coming back to the set of Black Panther 2 when it gets started. And just, their thoughts on how emotional and how ready she was and charged she was for this to happen with Black Panther 2. And look, I expect the performances in Black Panther 2 to be phenomenal. I expect them to put one of their best performances. All of these actors, I expect for them to put their best performances on the line, from top to bottom, from Lupita, from Shuri, even to the people who may have a smaller role. I imagine that Angela Bassett is going to go all out for this. I think that everybody who's going to be involved is going to go all out. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about some theories on what some theories and kind of preferences, if you want to put it that way, of what I like to see with Black Panther 2 and how to move forward past this. Now, let's just get this straight off the bat. I am on the bandwagon of recasting T'Challa, and I don't want it to be a recast. Here's the thing. I don't want it to be a recast in the universe. So, I don't want this same character to live on. But somehow, some way, we have to get T'Challa. I'm not on the bandwagon of a different, a M'Baku or anybody else taking up the mantle. But we have to get back to T'Challa. So there was a lot of things coming out with Black Panther that we had gotten. We had gotten the news about a while back about the different type of shows that's going to be coming out on Disney Plus with Ryan Coogler producing them. I'm excited to see what Ryan Coogler is going to do with that. I think he's putting his heart and soul into this stuff. And I think he could come out of all of this Black Panther stuff on the level of, say, Steven Spielberg, on the level of, say, just your big directors. I just drew a blank. J.J. Abrams. Not maybe, I know some folks don't like those names sometimes, but I'm saying on that level, on that recognition, I think he's really going to cement himself in our generation as one of those directors, as one of those folks. But coming back to that, I think that's going to result in this being handled in the best way, because we have to get that story of T'Challa. So, one thing I would like to see done, we have multiverse, we have the perfect opportunity, okay? We have the perfect opportunity to make this happen. I don't think this has to take years for this to take place. Because let's be real, we're not going to get a Black Panther movie until I think it's 2023 at this point, maybe 2022, 2023. I think February 2023 was the last I saw. Folks are going to be a little bit, relaxed off of losing Chadwick in a way. That time heals wounds, and we're going to feel a bit more relaxed and calm about somebody else stepping in the role. But how I would like to see that happen. So with Black Panther 2, I'm excited for Black Panther 2 for one, even without Chadwick, because it's going to be amazing how they get this to come together. Because one, I want you guys to think about this. I'm very, very curious of where Wakanda is as a nation right now, especially after the blip. Mainly because, Wakanda was strong. Wakanda. Oh, July 22nd. Thanks to Coachella. Uh, Wakanda is very strong. Like Wakanda is a very strong country. Folks will be like, oh, they just be able to survive, but they are very tradition strong. Like they're tradition laden. And when you have things break down, when you have folks who have never been invaded before, you gotta think about that. Wakanda had never been invaded before. They've had this snooty attitude, and you see it in the comics of Black Panther, how they felt betrayed when they were attacked by Thanos. They felt like let down, like yo, T'Challa, this ain't happened in years. Like in the history of Wakanda, this shit has never happened. Even even my man M'Baku said when Thanos' forces were about to break into the bubble, he said this will be the end of Wakanda. And you know Wakanda stood, but it was the end of Wakanda's security that they felt they had their whole entire existence as a nation. So coming out of that into Black Panther 2, I do think we aren't going to see T'Challa on screen. I really hope they don't do that, bring him back to life type thing. Because here's the thing: it's like with Carrie Fisher and how she went out. I know some people don't like it, but I didn't see a problem with it because she was older and like she is so connected to that role that like in the story it kind of just flew and it was like, all right, I accepted and I moved on. With this here, if I saw T'Challa and I saw him, you know, all 100% CGI, and I saw him dying that way, it'd be too much. It'd take over the whole entire movie. You wouldn't have a movie after that. So what I like to see is, you know, them explain something that's happened to him. Maybe he did get sucked into the multiverse or something. Because we are going to have multiverse of madness. So in order for this to work, I think that the ramifications of multiverse of madness really have to hit places like Wakanda. I think we really in multiverse of madness when and what goes on with the next topic we're going to be talking about. I think it's going to drop into different areas of the world and different places are going to be impacted. Wakanda can't be safe from magic and all that shit, so it's going to be impacting in a broad spectrum of things, if you ask me. So one, I do think we're going to see T'Challa maybe go missing, and that is going to cause even more turmoil in Wakanda. And what I would really love, I know Abby, you saying you'd like to see Michael B. Jordan come back, and I like to see Michael Jordan come back myself. Michael B. Jordan come back myself, and I think it's just like it can be a whole shift of things. So like, imagine this: we have the four tribes um, in Wakanda, and then you got the fifth tribe, the Jabari tribe. We got those tribes in Wakanda that when you know when you're battling for Black Panther, for the mantle of Black Panther, all of those had the opportunity to speak up. It seemed like everybody had a warrior that they were ready to send out there, but nobody did out of respect for the throne. What happens when that respect for the throne goes away? Because it shows they've lost faith in the throne. What happens when the faith in that throne goes away? And not only that, what happens when the face of that throne goes missing? Multiverse or what have you. What happens? Everybody going to fight for that throne. Everybody feels like they're going to have the right to step up to it. So that's what I would like to see in Black Panther 2, is a fight for the throne. And if you want Shuri to step up, if you want Shuri, look, I only want to see Shuri fight for the mantle of Black Panther and be Black Panther in one movie. As far as the sole Black Panther, I would like to see her maybe move forward, and we have two Black Panthers in the like have like a two Black Panther run in that sort, to where she'd have a suit, and you know she might run Wakanda in that sense, and the other Black Panther may be the protector, or the other way around. But what I would think would have to happen with this Black Panther 2 is that Shuri is going to have to really earn her stripes fighting for the seat on the throne. And when I say that, I keep saying throne. Wouldn't it be dope to kind of have like a Game of Thrones type of vibe where we're talking about different tribes backstabbing, clawing each other down to fight for a throne? And one thing that I really like to see adapted is one of the things in the Ta-Nehisi Coates run is the revolution that goes on. Maybe not so much from the Dora Milaje. I wasn't really into that side of things, but I was really into the side of the people. The people. Yo, that movie got so many little like things that I like to take out of, like the people. They do that over there at Dinner Nerds. Another one is light it up. That's my other one from Dark Knight. But anyway, That wasn't Dark Knight. That was not Dark Knight. I'm losing my mind here. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Back to the topic at hand. See how we get sidetracked. I'm sorry. I'm your normie sensei. I shouldn't be getting sidetracked like that. When we have that type of Game of Thrones type thing, I think it really gives Shuri the space to earn her right as a Black Panther. And not only that, it really allows us to explore that world. I think one of the more interesting things that the MCU has that we really haven't gotten to is the worlds that they have created. We would like to expand that. I would like to explore those worlds more. One thing I hated seeing about, I mean, we got to see some good bits of Asgard, but seeing maybe the gully of Asgard, like, I kind of wanted to explore Asgard more, but nothing makes me want to explore, no world in the MCU do I want to explore more than Wakanda. And to really see and flesh out the dynamics of that country there. So, one, when it comes to that, I would like to see the tribes. If we see different tribes throwing their people at Shuri, have fighting going back and forth, that would be dope. And it's a dope way for Shuri to beat up on some folks, man. Yo, imagine that. Imagine Shuri coming through and like having to fight people from the River Tribe or the Border Tribe who are coming up claiming their throne. She's one having to bring these tribes together. But then if you have another collective group of people who are following a revolution saying that there should be no more democracy, there should be there should be no more monarchy, there should be no more just one person in place as a king. We as the people need a voice in Wakanda. That's what I think we will be going with. And to see Shuri handle that, I think it would be great. On top of handling that, being able to fight her way to the top and earning the right as Black Panther, but leading Wakanda into a new way, similar to what T'Challa was doing. T'Challa was opening his voice up. He was bringing in the Jabari tribe, but she's extending that voice, extending the things that she felt like. So that's extending the lessons of what we saw from Black Panther 1, how T'Challa listened to Killmonger, and he really just thought about rethinking the ways that we're doing. What's up, Parker? So that's one thing I really like to see is one, Shuri being able to earn her stripes. And I think the best way for her to earn her stripes is to come up through a battle really for the country. I think people are going to be gunning for her. So when it comes to that traditional Black Panther for the mantle fight that we have at the waterfall, it'd just be dope to see Shuri getting challenged. Like, I can see Shuri coming out there thinking that she's not going to get challenged for the throne, similar to what T'Challa did. But then when you call River Tribe, they send out a challenger. And she has to fight through these challenges. And, maybe they realize once it's, more than one challenger, they break apart. Or maybe, she might lose. And, that just starts a whole civil war. And then she comes up and takes over, really shut shit down from her perspective. So, yeah, I think that's one thing that'll be dope. But to tie that in, I think we have to start looking forward to a way that we can bring in a new T'Challa. Like I said, I don't think we have to wait forever. One thing that they did with the first Black Panther is that they made it, we get these things and they're in different times. So we might get Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness first. But then in the chronological order of the timeline, Black Panther could come in sometime before that, and we see all of these events take place and everything that's going on. But I like to see out of Black Panther, this is where I'm coming in, casting alert. I would like to see a Black Panther come in from the Multiverse of Madness, from that result of what they're doing in Loki, what they're doing in Multiverse of Madness, and we get a new timeline. And I have a suggestion. So I like folks' suggestion of Michael B. Jordan. I'm not going to lie. That would be dope. I can see that coming. To me, there's only like 2 or 3 people who could really take on that role, and I'd have no worry of them being judged or people holding them to the standard of what Chadwick Boseman did. Because that's going to be a challenge in itself. Is to get someone to really want to come up and say, you know what, I'll take on that role. I'll take on that mantle right there and step in his place. Because there's going to be a fear of being compared to the greatest who ever did it so far that we've seen. Chadwick Boseman fit that role into his personality so well that it's going to be hard to see somebody step into that. So to me, there's Michael B. Jordan is one of those people. John David Washington, he is another one that I think could step in. I wouldn't be as excited to see him. Honestly, I heard those rumors at the beginning, and I haven't really heard any more of it. of John David Washington maybe being Reed Richards. I like that look, just with his beard and everything. Like I could see that look. But I'm also big on the John Krasinski train as well. But this dude, my man Desmond Idris, nobody talks about it. But look, him coming in, and here's the thing: people don't often play their age in movies. People often play younger than what they actually look for some reason. And I get it with teenagers. Like I get it if you can make Tom Holland look like a teenager, do it because that's Spider-Man. But this dude is about 24, 25. I would not mind seeing a 24, 25 T'Challa that is seasoned. Like a seasoned 24. You can be seasoned at 24, 25, 26. Make those ideas, make those moves. And this man here, Desmond Idris, he is from Snowfall. Do I have any Snowfall fans in here? That is one of the biggest television shows on TV right now. And he has the gravitas as Franklin Saint. Honestly, right now, he has the black community eating out of his hands. The people who are watching, like the social media community. And that's really the community that you have to win over. If you're going to announce Black Panther, if you're going to announce somebody else is going to be recasted as T'Challa, a community that you're going to have to win over is that social media community, that Twitter, that Black Twitter, that Twitter community. They are going to be the ones who really push forward whether this movie is successful, as successful as maybe the other Black Panthers when it comes to forward to being like, perception wise. So, my man's Idris here. First, he's British, so I feel like that accent won't be that hard to really get in. Yeah, Coachella, Snowfall is ridiculous, man. So, that accent to me, I feel like will be there. Also, to his demeanor and his presence that he has on screen. From the very first time you see Franklin Saint on Snowfall, you know Franklin Saint is not to be fucked with. You know that. So, if I saw him come in from a multiverse as a T'Challa, it's 25, 26, younger T'Challa, I know that he's not to be fucked with. I just know it. Like, you can look at him and be like, dang, that's the king right there. So that's what I like to see. And, seeing I don't know, maybe it's because I'm younger, I don't know. But seeing a younger T'Challa, I think is something that'd be a very good idea for the MCU to do. One, he could take this role and, if he does great and if he loves working with Marvel, this is somebody who can have the role for years to come. Years to come. And he can grow into that role and really knock that thing out. I'm talking like 5, 6 movies, knock that thing out. Have kids on screen, let them grow up, all that shit. But on top of that, I think someone coming in at that age would be great for however they do the mutants moving forward. Because we got to have that. The main reason why I want to see T'Challa come back is that Storm story. T'Challa and Storm is one of the bigger most powerful couple next to the Fantastic Four couple, and next to WandaVision, I guess, too, as well. But they're just one of the more powerful couples in the world, in the MCU universe, in the Marvel universe. So, seeing a younger Storm, I think that'd be a great tandem to have on the screen. So, yeah, that's my thoughts and that's my takes on, just theories on where we could go in this news. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to go through and read some. But, yeah, Trinity, I'm getting on that Twitter, man. Coachella Coastal. Yeah, I agree. We do need to recast T'Challa. We do need T'Challa somehow. We definitely do. Like, a world with no T'Challa would be so freaking dry, man. So freaking dry. All right, and Abby Case, yeah, you want to see I want to see Michael B. Jordan come back too. And honestly, I want to see him come back as Killmonger. Like maybe not this next movie. Maybe we get a little post-credit scene, but I would like to see him come back. And again, when I'm talking about winning that social media thing over after being recast, like imagine the announcement going on online that somebody else is going to be T'Challa. You got to win people over. I think that Michael B. Jordan is one of those other few that be able to win the Twitter, that be able to win the Facebook over with that announcement there. So yeah, definitely need to see all the tribes and their diversity of thought, and that's for sure. And like that's the thing. Those tribes are all going to handle losing their people in different ways, I think. I think it was understated that you have 4 different tribes. And you hear them going at it in the like they all have different type of mannerisms and different type of attitudes, different dresses and different everything. And when you see them talking in the throne room, in Black Panther 1, when they bring in Killmonger for the first time and they're all arguing back and forth, you see that. You see that dissonance. You know that the border tribe's been hurt by the royal family before. They're already on a rocky relationship. We don't even know what's going on with the border tribe because, in like I said, in Infinity War, what's left of the border tribe. So yeah, that's why I like to see that diversity, man. That diversity be dope. Yeah, man. What's up, Parker? I don't know if I said what's up to you yet, but yeah, Snowfall, man. Snowfall is like that show, and like I said, the performance that he's given, especially in this season, the season that this man gave with the cane in his hand, the whole season. This man was walking with a cane for the whole season, and you still knew this was a dude not to be fucked with. Still knew that this was a guy to not be fucked with. He needs to be T'Challa, man. He needs to be T'Challa. It's something that we need to send to Kevin Feige or somebody like, yo, you got an opportunity on your hands. An opportunity. But look, some more news that we got out was that Spider-Man news. So we pretty much have it all but confirmed that Tobey Garfield is going to be in the movie. And we also have it pretty much all but confirmed that we have, we're going to get my man Norman Osborn, and it's going to be a whole multiverse thing where we're going to have multiple villains coming in, maybe multiple Sinister Sixes. We're going to have all three of our Spider-Man in, and they're going to be going at it. So my speculation and theories and things that I would love to see moving forward that you can really build on and grow here. So on one end, I want to stick to the Marvel ramifications first. Things that I would like to see. When it comes to all of them fighting the Sinister Six, I would like to see my man Tom Holland step up to the role, because at the end of the day, this will be Sony Marvel. So like the Sony MCU that they're doing, this to me, that has to be the main Spider-Man. And I like to see my man Tom Holland earn some respect in this movie. If you ask me, Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man that we have gotten. The best portrait, the best portrayal, the best character acting, his emotions. I love that. Now, I understand some folks got some gripes about, the technology and him working with Tony Stark. But my man is smart as well. Like, he had that whole machine and all that shit going on his own. So, what I like to see come out of this movie here, Spider-Man coming up, is I like to see him take over the role. And this, I'm just going to get to where I like to see them break apart. I would love to see Norman Osborn stay in our universe. I've heard those theories. I've heard those leaks. I've heard conflicting news, but the one that I would really like to see is that Norman Osborn realizing that he has lost his son in the other world, that maybe this world has no idea who Norman Osborn is. One, I'd like to see him stay, or I'd like to see him influence the Norman Osborn that is in the MCU already. So that's one. When it comes to what happens with the Sony universe afterwards, my man, one, I would love to see Andrew Garfield get killed. I hate to say it, but that Peter Parker, it would be dope just to see him get a righteous send-off, doing the right thing and dying that way. But it's all about the multiverse for Sony. And I think they have interesting ways to tie it in to where you can give Tobey one more movie. And when I say give Tobey one more movie, is giving him his movie, let them resolve their shit in with the multiverse shit, and the multiverse can just stay there for them to go into, but then have Tobey go to the other universe and give Tobey a movie. And what's going to happen in that movie is that he's going to run into a man by the name of Miles Morales. I think that this is a perfect way to transition Miles Morales into being the Sony Spider-Man. Because one, I think that's something that Sony is going to really prep up, because that Spider-Man game that they have out there with Miles Morales is absolutely bonkers. And I think it's got a lot better reception than they expected, as well as Miles Morales won an Oscar. So sending my man's Tobey Garfield over to his own universe, let him have his movie there to raise up Miles Morales and to really kind of, I don't want to repeat of Into the Spider-Verse, but I would just like to see Miles Morales come out there. But I also think we're going to see parallels. So when we're talking about how this whole multiverse of madness thing breaks down, um, I think Doctor Strange is going to get to the root of it at the end of Multiverse of Madness and get to the root of Doc Ock and maybe Norman Osborn in another universe messing with the Collider machine. And it's so dope how mate. Look, I don't think anybody. I think people are sleeping on the possibility of them tying in what happened with Into the Spider Verse into live action movies because it is an entire. Everything's going to be connected in that way. So what we saw in Into the Spider Verse was Doc Ock. It was a female Doc Ock over there. She's working on it with Kingpin. So to me, it would be dope to have a parallel timeline going on to where you have a Doc Ock working with Norman Osborn, and they create the same issues, which bursts the multiverse of madness going on, and just paralleling that with what we see with Miles Morales in that movie, and folks can build their connection off of what they saw in Into the Spider Verse. I think that'd be dope. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to touch on. We're gonna dive into those. That's definitely gonna be one of the questions that I have for Stormy tomorrow, and then also is gonna be one of the questions that I have that you're gonna hear in things like the nerd match or whatever the name will be in the coming weeks for our theories and for our questions there. So what we're here for, my man Ashton, what's good, dude? What we're here for. I'm a Garfield fan. I'm not trying to see him die, but I see how it would be a dope moment in the movie. All right, Coachella. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to kill your man's like that, Coachella. My bad, man. I ain't mean to kill your man's like that. But, but yeah, he'd be the one to get the axe, man. I think he'd be the one to get the axe. But look, let's hop into what I really wanted to talk about. Who I really want to be talking about. Look, I'm a new channel. All right, I'm not gonna lie. It's amazing. I love the support that I've gotten here so far, and it's been wild. I really only started streaming 6 weeks ago. So yeah, well, I guess 7 weeks ago now. Because I streamed for a preview for Falcon and the Winter Soldier for the first episode. So I am excited to have gotten through my first season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But one thing that I wish I had done more, and it's a lesson learned, is to really talk about the thing that's really captivating me more. And I'm going to be real. Right here, I'm going to talk about the whole season, then I'm going to get into the finale. But the whole season in itself of Invincible. One, I had no idea it was coming out. I wasn't a fan of I had no idea of the comics. Robert Kirkman. I am a huge fan of the Walking Dead comics. That was the first comics book that I ever read was The Walking Dead. I read the compendiums. I love those comics. I love that comic. This is great to me. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan on the show. Well, I was at least. So when I heard that he did Invincible, one that part my that made my nerd senses tingle, if you know what I mean. So that one had me excited. So two, it was like, okay, well, it comes out on the same night as Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier first. I was putting that ahead of things. But then I watched the first episode of Invincible. At first, I was like, okay, I was giving it a shot. When it came out, when the first thing came, when the first 5 minutes of the show, it was a risk. To me, it was a risky way to start off a show, but you gotta have patience because I'm one of those impatient people. If you don't wow me, I get turned down a little bit. But when it came to those first 5 minutes when they're talking and everything, and then all of a sudden everybody comes down, and it's like, okay, I see what's going on here. This is just a different play on the Justice League. You got everybody mirroring their powers. Okay, I get it. I thought I got it. You get to the whole first episode, and the first episode is interesting because the first episode was an okay show. I was watching it, okay, I can get with this. I got to see how I feel about them having a different character. I was like, maybe it would be dope to have a black Batman portrayal in here. It's like, okay, I get it. But then shit gets real when Omni-Man, spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen the goddamn show, because I'm about to go all the way the fuck in. So look, it gets real and snap. let me holler at before. I thought things were a bit corny and tropey before that. Like that's how I felt about the show in the first episode. I was like, this is gonna be a corny and tropey show. Um, just kind of your generic show. I thought I was like, okay, but I watch it because it was interesting. I like the action a bit. But then my man's Nolan Omni Man goes in and he kills everybody, and it's like, and it was the same thing with my wife. Like my wife, she was watching it, and she was like, "Oh, okay, it's cool." And you know, my wife got a quick leash. Like if I got a quick leash on the show, her leash is so much quicker. Her leash is so much quicker. I mean, when I say her leash is quick, look, I gave Game of Thrones 2 episodes, and I got off of it until everybody was like, "Nah, dude, you slacking." It took me. She ain't watched Game of Thrones till last year, and then she was, "Oh my god, I can't believe it. I missed this." So it was about to be the same thing with Invincible until my man Nolan really snapped and killed every fucking body. And I was like, that's when you get the mindfuck of what the hell is going on with this show. So, like, what I've been saying in past streams, the biggest things on TV right now, and I don't know if I'm just getting to the age when I'm really starting to dissect this entertainment shit, but the biggest things on TV is when you're trying to figure out a mystery. Mystery shows are going to always be the most intriguing thing on television because they automatically prompt talking about it. They automatically prompt what's going on, speculation. That's why, to me, WandaVision was so much better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Such a better experience. I know folks had some things on the finale, but like it was a ride. You try to figure out what in the hell was going on the entire series until you got your answer. The thing that's different with that is the way Invincible is hitting. You're trying to figure out what is going on. It's the same type of dash, like, dude, like, what in the hell? Like, was Nolan mind controlled? Is he gonna, like, are they gonna find out what's going on? That whole story in itself is so beautifully put together because you had no idea. And it's like, they kind of make you forget in the moments of what he did. Like, you know he's dark and get there, but when I go back and I watch the moments, and it's like seeing the things that he does, it's like, okay, well, he must have been mind controlled, or something else happened. It becomes an afterthought of what he did. But the way they developed that is so great. And here's the thing: I'm a fan for Gore, but Gore was not the best. The Gore was not the best part of this show. And I think the fact that the storyline was so great and the way that they developed these characters and the vocal performances. My man Glenn, I ain't know Glenn could talk like that. I didn't know Glenn could be that Glenn wasn't even that emotional in his voice in The Walking Dead. But you hear the emotions in his voice from start to finish. He sounds like an emotional young man. So the way they built this show out to me is what drew me in. It's like the intrigue, the relationship between him and Amber felt tropey, and you felt like you knew where things were going, but they derived things. It's like the things they pulled from the comics is like over here, but they follow the comics so well. You see shot for shot things in the comics that you see in the show. And I'm not gonna front like I read the comics. I'm just talking about breakdowns that I watched after some of the episodes, and they show the relations to the comics. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna front and be like I read those comics, which I definitely am gonna read those comics there. But when you look at the breakdown of the way they deviate from the comic books in perfect places, and I think that's what makes the show work. Because one, they obviously have a great comic in Invincible, but then when you see and you pull. Like, when you do things like bring Cecil in early, when you do things like make the complexity of Amber and Mark's relationship more dynamic in that way, that really changes and improves what the show could have been. So, to me, they knocked the ball out the park. They knocked the ball out the park on the big main plot of Mark and his coming into knowing what Voltron was, or God damn it, I feel like I really fucked that name up just then. But they get into Mark and Omni-Man, and they nail that plot down, and they knock it out the park from beginning to end. That's what separates That's what separates it from WandaVision. That's what makes this show the best piece of nerdy content to come out since Far From Home. And honestly, that's it. I'm saying far from home because I really don't feel like arguing about it. but it could be the best content since Endgame. Snyder Cut, MCU, all that stuff. This thing hit so much harder. The boys, all of that. To me, this episode hits this series hit so much harder. And the fact that this animation is like one thing for folks to have to get through, but you get through that because of the story. What's up, Wayne? You get through that because of the story. So yeah, to me, Invincible is no doubt the best. They need an award. If we're giving out awards for the best nerdy content shit to come out this year, Shang-Chi better blow me out the water. My expectations for Shang-Chi and Eternals, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to be better than Invincible, if you ask me. But that's just how good this show was. Like, that's what they brought from beginning to end, was the dynamic of keeping you on edge. I'm on edge. That's another thing. When you have a show where you're trying to figure out what's going on, and then you have a show where you're on edge the whole time because you got a ticking time bomb right there. Those are the perfect combinations for a great television show. And not only on top of that, the way they weave stories into week into week into week, the way you see Mark get his ass beat over and over again, but you still have faith in this dude. Look, you see Mark get his ass beat over and over again, but they still make you think that he has a chance to knock out Invincible. Well, some people, I honestly didn't think he had a chance, but some people thought he had a chance to knock out Invincible. So that is what really sells it to me. It's just how they developed this show. That's just plain and simple. This man, the way they developed this man Mark, the way they developed him and Eve's relationship. You know, they give you that misdirect. What's up, Mike? They get in Star Wars and OG. They give you that misdirect that he is going to leave Amber and go with Eve. Like that whole love triangle thing. They knocked that out the park. When it comes to the subtle things, it's the subtle things. So, like for example, in the episode, in the college, and Mark's friend, I forgot his friend, but that dude's boyfriend gets turned into the cyborg. The subtle things that they did at the end of that episode was, to me, a prime example of why this show is the best show on television. At least superhero wise. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Snowfall. It had me get captivated too on the edge, but at least superhero wise, and I'm willing to say the best for this argument. I will say the best show on television for the sake of this argument. The reason why I made it a 10 out of 10 was because of the subtle things, like in that episode in the dungeon where after my man's boyfriend was turned into a robot, other things you would look up and you know he's reaching for the dude's hand and he turns away. And other things you see, like, okay, there's a chance to get this guy back. It'd be fine. They could do it too. But no, that's not what happened. They make it so real that he turns his head away. Like, just those subtle things that you see in the background that develop these characters. It's just amazing to me. And the fact that they were able to do that and bring this impactfulness in a show, in an animated show, bring this emotion to animation, it's otherworldly. And like, it's something that I love, you know, that we got this, but it's something I don't want to see anybody to try to duplicate, to be honest. And I'm not going to say I don't want to see anybody try to duplicate it, but it does make me nervous to see other people try to duplicate it because it was something that was perfectly put together, if you know what I'm saying. Like, when you have something like that put together, that's like, to me, this is like DC looking at Marvel doing what they do in the Avengers, and then they're getting rid of Zack Snyder and changing their vision and doing other shit. That's what I don't want to see, is the result of what we got with Justice League from people trying to do that. So yeah, Invincible as a series was dope. And again, if you were here with me during my 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock stream the other night on the MCU, my man's Ashton and Mike Porter was in here late. And my man's Wayne was in here too, late. I think he was in here, Wayne. Late, talking about that MCU listing. I said rewatchability is key to me. Rewatchability is a lot. When I tell you, the rewatchability of Invincible is out of this world. And it's not just rewatching from 1 to 4 to 8. I tell you, I went through when there's weeks, you know, when in between the weeks, you know, I watch my Snowfall, I watch my Falcon and the Winter Soldier, watch my Invincible, I would go back and watch any given episode of Invincible. One day I felt like watching episode 4. One day I felt like going back and watching um one day I felt like going back and watching the episode when they dealt with the Martians, and then when they dealt with the people coming from other dimensions. I would go back and watch every, except for episode 1. I would go back and watch every episode at any given time, and it just brought the same experience. So that's one thing, and I think it was a whole combination of things as well as the tone. Listen, I'm one of those guys. Yeah, everyone seems to be. I hate. We need to get a schedule out here, Trinity. We really need to get like just throw a schedule out, a little blocking list. But even then, I know people like myself. I'm hard to be on time, so I know that shit would just be a clusterfuck. But anyway, like you have the environment of the show. I'm gonna do. Look, I watched the first 2 episodes like in bed. So like, I come up and I watch because I wasn't taking the show seriously at the beginning. The first 2 episodes, I wasn't taking the show seriously. So like I come up from playing my PlayStation or something, and I come upstairs and watch it, and it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like 75% awake, and I'd just be watching it in bed with the closed captions on, volume on 2, taking it all in. But what I realized when I actually watched it, full volume and full attention paid to it, was that the music and the tone of the show was everything. It really sucks you into this world. So, as I said, as a series, to me, this gets a 10, bro. I see you in there. Let me know what you guys rated as 1 to 10. I see you in there, Wayne, giving it a 9.5. I give it a 10 because it nailed it. It's hard to nail. It's hard to nail as many aspects of this show that they did. Like I can't give you. If you gave me a day or 2, I might be able to do it. But I can't give you anything that I disliked about this show. The pacing, the action, the length of the show, the post credits in every show. Dude, it's just amazing. Every single aspect of the show hit. It was a bigger surprise that I was not expecting. If I knew what I was getting from this show last year, this would have been all I was talking about. If I knew what I was getting from this show last year, I would have gone through and read all the comics. If I knew what I was getting from this show last year, I might not have been streaming and talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's just 100. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with season 2 and season 3 because there's so many other threads to press on. I want to see what Eve does. To me, Eve is the most complex in character. To me, she's like Wanda. She pretty much is like Scarlet Witch as far as power wise, but it's a bit more of a complexity to her powers. I think she doesn't realize the power that she has. I'm excited to see what she does. I'm excited to see what my man's. I'm still confused, still trying to figure out how my man's robot is going to really come out of this, So before I get into the episode in itself, I'm going to be talking about the episode here. Sorry, I didn't get my pictures ready for this. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about episode 5, episode 8, and really, it still leaves much. Trinity, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to talk to you about that. We're going to have to bring you on the stream or something to talk about that. Because I want to know what it brings. I want to know what's left. Because to me, it knocked it out the park. And I love to get that insight. But see, Ryan, I think they left so much on the table to be brought up into the next season here. All right, so let me hop into these comments. Yeah, so Star Wars MCU OG, thanks for hopping up in here, my man. What's going on? So Reefer Man, the series was absolutely amazing, and I'm glad I did not read further than issue 2 of the comics. Yeah, that's what I'm a little nervous about reading for it too. But then again, I've become the person who is not really impacted by spoilers, as far as them maybe impacting the content. I became that person that's not really worried about it at this point. So I may go ahead and read the entire thing here. But then again, I want to be a theory-based channel, speculation-based channel a little bit. So I don't want that to get in the way of speculation, if that makes sense. But yeah, Mike motherfucking Porter, thank you for coming up in here, my man. Second Street Marvel Trinity, love you being in here as always, bro. I said what up to you earlier, but your name just popped out, so it's good. Hey, so Reaper Man, you give it a 9.5, blood and guts. That's what's up. Ashton, for real, me and Secretary Marvel was holding it down. Y'all were, and I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Abby Cage was in here holding it down earlier too. Snowfall is a really good show. It says Star Wars MCU. But I'm behind. Yeah, you gotta catch up, bro. It only goes up, and it's still going up. You go, it's where you get a series that's still going up in episode 4, in season 4. Facts, bro. I've been rewatching every episode. I mean, yeah, the rewatchability of Invincible is to me just a testament of how much they nailed these weekly episodes here. Coachella Coastal, 9.5. Yeah, I give it a 10, man. And I might just be high on Mountain Dew, all jacked up on Mountain Dew, but I'm giving it a 10 right now. Star Wars MCU gives it an 8.5. Ashton gives it a 10. Like I said, Trinity says the show still leaves more to be desired. I just really want, Trinity, I like, drop it in the comments, just, oh, you still need to watch the last 2 episodes? Okay, I got you. But to me, the last 2 episodes is what makes it a 10, man. It's like the way they handle those last 2 episodes makes it a 10. I'm about to get into episode 8 right now, Trinity. So, I mean, as long as you don't care, that's what's up. Hey, Reefer Man says, my only problem was the thing in Egypt with the mummy seemed to be a pointless scene. In the aliens from Mars, that setup stuff just dropped in. See, I don't think it's dropped. Like, if you saw those things, those threads that's being placed, excuse me, I'm not sure if it's something that's, maybe they're looking to expand that universe, or if it's something that's going to pick up next season. But when you really look at it, Mark didn't defeat any of those things. So they could be planting the seeds for Mark to defeat all of those and to really show his maturity and his elevation and strength in the next few seasons. I'm not saying, like, I just don't think that going back to those storylines, just for me, going back to those storylines, it would have gotten in the way of the real storyline of this season. And, I think those are people we might just get the same, like, type of character of the week type things with those storylines next season that shows Mark's growth and shows just how badass he's gotten over time. But, yeah, I mean, that Egypt scene, though, was very confusing because I did think that it was going to be something that was going to be talked about in the episode, but it never came back. And I'm like, even though as powerful as he looked, how did that whole thing create a sandstorm and nothing really happened? Like, it's just, that part was a bit confusing. So I get you there. All right. So they always change it up from the source material, right? But sometimes Trinity is like, if you change up from the source material, sometimes it's terrible. But I just think like the small little derivations. Shit. Sometimes I get my words mixed up, man. So look, sometimes the smallest deviations that they did, really like set things apart. So like what they did with Amber, I think it was a great deviation. But nah, yeah, I've seen the last episode. Ashton, I saw the last episode before I came down here to stream today. So let's get into this. The last episode. This episode to me had me hooked from the very beginning. Because look, sometimes some finales you get left on the episode 6 thing. Like, I mean, like when I say episode 6, I mean like episode 7 of WandaVision, you get left on that cliffhanger, and they have a hard time of bringing you back into the scene that you were in. You know what I mean? So like in episode 6 of WandaVision, we were out there in the street and we were ready for Wanda to fight Agnes. But then they blindside you a little bit, and then you come back into episode 7 of WandaVision. I'm really getting things fucked up here. In the end of episode 7 of WandaVision, I really didn't feel like I was in the same moment in the way that we got in there. But the way they brought us into this moment here in Invincible, you start off on the grass, you immediately remember where you are. And then that blood splatter rains down. From that moment on, I'm hooked in. And the way that they focus on Mark's reaction, the emotional side of things, everything felt so real. Mark feels human. That's what they're showing in this show. Even though the genes, the traits, everything, they said, these pretty much 99% Viltrumite. Even though all of that's taken over, Mark's personality as a human is prevailing. He is acting like a teenager who just saw his dad kill a hero that he probably looked up to, a hero that he thought was his dad's friend. He's in disbelief, can't believe it, and it's just sad. You feel that emotion. You look into his eyes, into my man Omni Man's eyes, and you feel that emotion. So that's where you see everything just blow up there. So like I see the whole mind thing just really come into play there. The mind thing of what they're putting yourself in these characters in Invincible. They're putting yourself in these characters' mind. But then also they're giving you these vocal. That's one thing that really stood out to me in this episode was the vocal performances of these characters, of Mark in particular. Mark's vocal performance, Stephen Yang, ridiculous, ridiculous. Like the inflections that he put in there after he saw his, like when he was questioning his dad, the conversation that they were having as Mark was getting his ass beat, it just has you on edge, and it's like you feel and connect with those moments, and the little things that connect. So when they're out there throwing baseball, you think it's just cool that they're out there throwing baseball just because they're super powered. They can go out, they can throw it around the world. It's a cool thing to do. But no, they connected in at the end to the thing that makes Omni Man realize that he loves his son and that this is more than just another planet to conquer. So the whole dynamic that they build in this episode, I mean, in this season finale, and the way they tie this all in together was just beautiful. And I'm a huge fan of how they tied in. Like I said, I hadn't read the comics. I see my comic references that I see is from videos that I watched on YouTube. Ain't gonna front. But when I see what they did as far as like the shots that when he's explaining Viltrum, when he's explaining how they came forward about his conquest in the past, it's like like that had to come straight from the comics because it just looks aesthetically beautiful the way it does. So yeah, the last episode just really knocked it out the park, and the fact that the scenes with Mark, you got to take this into account because when I watched it again, Nolan leaves the world. What, like 22 minutes in? It's a 47-minute episode. He leaves the world 22 minutes in, and it felt like the whole entire episode. It felt like 42 minutes was that fight, and it's a good thing. Like the fight, from the action in the fight, the dialogue, the disbelief, the necessary gore of some things. And then my favorite parts was like seeing Mark really not, when he's trying to save that woman from the building, and the building falls and he's holding on to the woman's hand and he thinks she's all right and her arm is gone. The disbelief that his dad caused that is there on him, and the disbelief, like the weight of, you can't save these people, you can't save everyone like this. Like, he feels like a failure at that point. It's real. So the focus on Mark and that whole thing was just amazing. The fact that they show those, you feel the emotions of Debbie. Like, this is an animated show. It's hard. Animes do it all the time, but to see a show that's in English that does this and that's like produced in the United States, and that I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but when it comes to these comics, when it comes to United States comics or animation, I haven't felt disconnected to a character like that. To where I felt Debbie's pain when she heard that Nolan called her a pet. like you realize, like, damn, she's watching this and you feel for her. You feel for Debbie the entire series. Just Invincible needs like an award, and Invincible is out of this world. So where I think they're going forward, I'm just excited to see what Mark is going to do. I'm excited to see his powers there as they develop. As the Guardians get stronger and come up, they become a real team. I like to see what happens there. Is it possible that Mark turns into his, like? Is it possible that Mark becomes an enemy? Very much possible, but I don't think he's going to turn. I think he's going to really wrestle with becoming someone like his father in that way. And then also too, moving forward, I don't know if it's gonna be in this season. It might be a cliffhanger for season 2, and then we get season. It might be a 3-season arc as to when the Viltrumites come back. But I think this whole time we're gonna see the universe get strong enough to tackle the Viltrumites. So that's the thing. I don't know. In the comments, like, I'm a little afraid to read the comments to see what's gonna happen. But the Viltrumites are the galactic fucking empire. The Viltrumites take over. I'm sorry, I thought I heard something in my house. The Viltrumites take over. So it's like, how are they going to get out of this? What is going to be the end game? Because they have all of these universes in their palm of their hands. And it's like, is Earth really going to be able to fight off the Viltrumites? Like, what's going to happen with my man Nolan when he leaves? Because there are going to be some repercussions of him just leaving just leaving Earth like that and not taking over. What's going to happen with them after that? All of those things come into play with the future of the season. I'm just excited to see how things are going to unfold. But all in all, Invincible gets a 10 out of 10. That season finale nailed it. Brought everything together for me in this season. Maybe I'm high on Mountain Dew. Maybe I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Or maybe, just maybe, your Normie Sensei is just in love with the series that took him by surprise. Might not have been love at first sight in the first episode. But god damn it, from the last 5 minutes on, I was in love. Now I'm sad to see this love end. But best believe I'm going to be rewatching these shits all the time. Because it's the action alone, the storyline. Even in my favorite parts, when I went back and rewatched the whole Machine Head thing and how Machine Head was talking. This show has so many genius elements. It's ridiculous. They put so much thought into the vocal performances. It's ridiculous. Machine Head is a villain that's over there singing on autotune as he talks, bro. He is talking on autotune, singing and inflecting in autotune as he talks. Where do you come up with this shit? It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So, hats off to Amazon. I can't bring it. Like I said, I'm a bit nervous. Like, I don't want to see everyone try to copy this formula. But what I do love to see is, like, just the way it brings it. So, like, DC wanted to do that whole dark thing with the DCEU, but it didn't bring it. And the boys brought it because they went all the way there. It's like DC didn't want to go all the way there. That's what fucked them over. But, like, the boys went all the way there. But then it got to the point to where it just felt like you were just being gory. And that's something that I don't want to see folks talk about. Is like, I don't want to see folks talk about, like, yeah, the boys are so much better than the MCU, because they have the right to go there. And to me, that's why I think that people might like Daredevil and Jessica Jones more than they like these Disney Plus shows, is because they have the right to go there and to be above. To push the envelope on some of these things, to show blood, to show more realistic things. But when it comes to Invincible, to me, the gore and all of that other shit was secondary. The story, the vocal acting, all of that just really sold it for me. So look, I'm going to hop off of this. I'm going to hop off of Invincible sack, pause, and I'm going to get out here to the final round grounds. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Anything you guys want to talk about? A little quick round. Thanks for dropping in the comments. So Parker says, me and Mike switching between Landon, Boulder Doobies, and Kendall. Hey, it is what it is. I thank you for just switching in here, man. Look, like my man Trinity said, look, I always love Trinity's advice. Trinity has become, like, over these last couple of weeks, Trinity, you have become like a motivation. Like these, I mean, not to say you ain't been that dude anyway, but like those videos, like the recent streams that you have been putting out in the afternoon that I've been catching, I've been really motivating recently. So, I love your wisdom, dude. But yeah, I see what you say. Just you can't let nobody stop you. You just gotta go. Somebody always streaming it. That's facts, and it's the goal here is to be that dude. To be that dude that bring those people in. Like I said, I got lofty goals here. Got very lofty goals. That's why I need to create this Twitter, because there's very lofty goals in this first 6 months of the channel, and then even more lofty goals in the first 12 months of this channel. And like I said, we only, I created this channel in February of this year. Really would have created it much earlier, but I was nervous about my job and how they take it. But I said, fuck it, and just went for it. And I just love the support that you all have given me so far. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy of the support, but you guys are just more than righteous with it. So thank you. But yeah, you like you said, just always got to keep going, man. Just always got to keep going. Reefer Man Reviews, thanks for being in here as well. So yeah, let me know. I hang out for a little bit longer. Anything you guys want me to chat about? You know what? Just let me know. Drop it in. I did hear about the Green Lantern news. Look, I am excited for what DC is doing. All right. I hope they reset, and I just hope that they really knock things out the park on HBO Max. Whatever they come out with on HBO Max, I just hope it's not whack. Like, if they want to stay there and they feel like they can push the envelope, good. So here's the thing, like, at the end of the day, we know what Zack Snyder brought to DC, and I think he's making them wake the fuck up. So whether they bring him back or not, I think they're going to realize that he gave people what they wanted, and that was just true, honest realness in his stuff. So I'm excited to see what they do with Green Lantern because honestly, I'm a Green Lantern fan. You know, I'm a huge fan of DC animation. If they can bring that flavor over into if they can bring that flavor over into live action, that's something I love. Yeah, the Green Lantern news, they casted, oh god, I'm blanking on his name, but he's a lesser known Green Lantern. It's not Hal Jordan. It's not it's a lesser known Green Lantern, and it's not John Stewart, and I'm blanking on the name of this Green Lantern. But yeah, you know, I just hope it's not on the level of Doom Patrol and on the level of Titans. Now, honestly, Doom Patrol, like I like that show, like I watched it, but it just got a little diluted. It didn't feel like stakes were there. But yeah, it did help me enjoy Snyder Cut more. To be honest, with the with Doom Patrol connecting between the cyborg, which I loved in Doom Patrol, I love that cyborg. I connected those storylines somehow. Like somehow I felt Ray Fisher's cyborg so much more in Zack Snyder Justice League because I was a fan of the cyborg in Doom Patrol. So just that whole multiverse thing came together for the cyborg characters. So I'm going to give them a shot. It seems like they want to head in the right direction with how they're talking, but then again, this has happened before. So if they don't knock this stuff out the park now, then this is for me is over for DC. I'm not coming back to it. Like if they don't knock it out the park this time, like I gave them try after try after try. If they can't get it right this time, with like the Green Lantern shit they're gonna be doing, they can get it right with with the whole Flashpoint and all that shit. They can't get Rock right with Black Adam. If they can't get Black Adam right, you know me Sensei gonna have to ban DC shit from the channel. I ain't gonna ban it, but yeah, it's just not gonna be high on the list. Oh yeah, something else I didn't get to talk about Mortal Kombat. We didn't really get to drive into the Mortal Kombat chat, but let me know in the chat how are my folks in here feeling about Mortal Kombat. How you guys feeling about that? Because I'm just rambling here because I love having folks in here and just want to talk a little bit more, so maybe some comments pop off. But Mortal Kombat, to me, I give it a 7. But a 7 is good. Look, I enjoyed Mortal Kombat for what it was. If you're somebody who wants to watch Mortal Kombat to see the plot be all off the chain and to see everything go in, I'm going to tell you to not watch Mortal Kombat. But if you're someone who's going to be in for a basic plot and a good ride and you don't want to look into it, Mortal Kombat's your movie. Now, there's no knock on people enjoying Mortal Kombat, but that action to me in Mortal Kombat was great. Like, I love the subtle nods to the video game, but then also too, like the opening action. I don't care what action goes through, really from the middle. That's not really as important. As long as it's enough to get me through. But the beginning action, that opening scene, I wish we had gotten more of that type of flavor, to be honest, that we got from Hanzo. But the introduction into Scorpion was dope. The way they made you feel about Scorpion. One thing that I would like to see, a couple things. I am not a fan of Cole. Cole was ass, and I think that's universally known. Cole was ass. It just was. I've heard these points, and I don't want to sound like I'm copying anybody, but it's facts. Like, I'm used to these shows. Like, you're used to movies. Like, hyping up somebody and then breaking them down when they get to the real thing. So, like, to me, it just didn't make sense that Cole was getting his ass beat, that he was an ass fighter, and then he can become somebody as it's a world champion. That's a Mortal Kombat champion. Like, to me, that just didn't make sense in a way. But yeah, I mean, other than Cole, like, the movie was dope. Like, the movie was fun. The only reason it gets a 7, like I said, if it had better plot points, then it would have been cool to me. But, like, I'm excited I think it's going to get a sequel, and I'm excited for those. Now, would I go watch? I would have been mad if I went to go see Mortal Kombat in theaters. And that's one thing about HBO Max that I think people are sleeping on, is that once theaters open, HBO Max, what's going for HBO Max right now is those theater movies coming out like they're Netflix movies. That's what's going for HBO Max. What's going to happen when that thing fall off? Like, are folks just going to go back to shitting on HBO Max? Is that what's going to happen? People going to unsubscribe? I don't know. Yeah. Trendy says, okay, bro, I'll hook split. Great stream. Thanks, Trendy. Thanks for dropping in, man. Oh, because I'm talking about Mortal Kombat. My fault, because you ain't seen it yet. My bad, my man. Hey, hey, Star Wars OG, Mortal Kombat was a fun watch. It really was. I really enjoyed. Like I said, it was fun. Like, Kong was fun. Is it supposed to be a perfect movie? No. Jumanji was fun. Like, these movies, like, there's fun movies. Every movie don't gotta be a critical 10, but you can still have fun watching it, and that's what Mortal Kombat is. It's just an all-out fun movie. But look, I'm gonna get out of here. Like I said, everybody's still in here. Come back tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what time, so guys, knock it out the park on that. But Stormy from Everyday Geeks is gonna be over here. Also, look out for the Twitter. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm gonna be putting in the Discourse as well. On Twitter, we're gonna have a Normies and Nerds Twitter page coming up by tomorrow, so make sure you go and follow that, where I'm gonna be announcing the streams. Gonna be talking about dropping some nerdy shit in there, dropping some nerdy memes. So make sure you go out there and follow that. Look, I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Thanks for coming in here. I am your Normie Sensei, Master Kunch. As I always say, go watch something fun. Go rewatch something, whether it's Invincible, whether it's something MCU, even DC. Go rewatch something nerdy between now and the next time I see you, and enjoy that shit and share it with somebody you love. As always, you guys be safe. I'll catch you guys tomorrow with Stormy here in the dojo. Much love. Peace out. Let's turn this beat up. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. Can I talk on my radio? Can I talk on my radio? This beat made by C. One of my best friends. We got more beats like this. Don't worry about it. More fun. More streams. More fun. I want everyone to have a good night. Be safe. If you like one up, light it for me. Pass it to your left. I hit it in the spirit. But I ain't gonna cheat. So if you like one, roll it thick. Light it with a bit. Pass it to a man, know shit. Whatever you do, make sure you enjoy that shit. I love you guys from east to west. You all are. I am your Nomie Sensei, Master Guns. And I'll see you guys.